Hello, everybody. Scott Golden with Golden Opportunities Coaching here. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. And we do dive into life coaching slash psychological, emotional challenges and issues and things that would potentially challenge you. In any event, we do that on a almost daily basis. There's well over 100 videos, probably close to 120 or 30 now, and worth checking out. They're all in audio format just because that's easier and easier to discern content. Plus, I'm not a big fan of the talking head idea. Anyway, today we are going to discuss something that's really kind of useful, and that is 5 tips on becoming a successful adult or being a successful adult. So if you're already an adult, okay to listen. If you're a millennial who is becoming an adult, you're 18 to, in your early to mid 20s, these are useful things, life lessons that from working with nearly 14,000 people over a 13-year career, these are things that everybody should kind of pay attention to. So, make time for the people in your life. And I know that goes without saying, but yet it needs to be said because so many people don't do it. And when I say make time, I'm not talking about text messages. I'm talking an actual one-to-one phone conversation, a Skype conversation, or preferably time in person. Look, anyone can pass away at any time. Anyone can take sick at any time. Anyone can have a tragedy, an accident at any time. And more than that, anyone can leave our life because they don't feel worthy of us, or they don't feel we care, or whatever. And so when you're deliberate about making time for those in your inner circle while keeping those who are acquaintances at bay unless you intend to make them a better friend, you're really honoring the value of the relationship in its totality. So what we were, what we are, and what we could become together. When you don't value relationships, number one, you're going to have more issues with anxiety, depression, anger, frustration, because we're meant to be social creatures. One of the advantages or challenges, depending on your perception, of being human is a thing called reason. And so we have the ability to deduce the meaning behind things where the animal kingdom doesn't. And unfortunately, when we don't spend time with another person, they're more than likely going to have a negative meaning to why we didn't do that. And so that negative meaning affects their self-esteem, it affects their value, it affects their desire to invest in us in the future if that's something we need, etc. and so forth. And so we move on to the second thing, which is equally important. Focus on your self-worth. Now, self-esteem being affected by others has always been one of those things that makes me go, huh? Because self-esteem should come from within yourself. You are worthy of love, success, value, healthy relationships, not being abused. You're worthy of having the career that you desire, the lifestyle you desire, and all points in between, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what your race, creed, color, religion, all that stuff. All qualifiers out the window, you are worth it. But here's the thing, and here's a trick that I've learned in working with people. You're not worth it until you believe you are. What I mean by that is you get what you believe in reflected through the other people in your life or the situations in your life. And so if you don't believe you're worth it, chances are other people won't either, or people will treat you like you're not. So reflecting on your own self-worth and focusing on your strengths, covering your weaknesses, we all have them. To cover your weaknesses is just to say, hey, I'm not good at this. Let somebody else do this because I'm not good at it. It's not to say that you have no weaknesses. It's not to ignore your weaknesses. It's just to cover them and say, somebody else can handle this because it's not for me. It's super important. The next thing is exercise. Physical exercise and mental exercise. So test your brain, test your body. The more you're physically active and mentally active, the more full your life's going to be. Testing your brain can be something as simple as emotional IQ tests or regular IQ tests. It can be learning a new skill or talent, going to college, dedicating yourself to learning a trade, dedicating yourself to immersion in your hobby. There's a million ways you can exercise your mind, which goes hand in hand with this. Always be learning. there's a mentor of mine who was in entertainment probably for 50 years, and when I first met him about 15, 16 years ago, he said one sentence to me that has stuck with me forever, and he's a relatively famous athlete slash actor. And he looked at me and he said, "Hey kid," "Yes sir," and he said, "The minute I stop learning, I'm going to retire." And that stuck with me because here's a guy at the time who probably was in his mid to late 50s. And yeah, because he's probably 75, 77 now. And so, here he is saying, when I stop learning, I'll quit. It's interesting because if we all had that mentality, how much more would we learn? How much more would we grow? How much more would we focus on making the world a better place if that was where we are? And so the last one that I want to spend a little bit of time on is course correction. Look, here's the reality. You're human, which means you have flaws, which means you have weaknesses, which means you're going to make mistakes of calculation or calibration from time to time. This does not mean you are a failure of a person. This does not mean you are a bad person. This does not mean you cannot course correct or do something different in the future. As long as you're breathing, you can set things right. Maybe not with people, but within yourself. And then you can have other experiences or opportunities that will, give you a better quality of life in the long run. I often say the worst things I've been through taught me the best lessons, and it's true. And whether it's you've been through abuse or a breakup or a divorce, or you lost a job unexpectedly, or you went through an illness unexpectedly, whatever it is, although it's uncomfortable, if you can look at it from the observer seat, which is above yourself. If I was looking at this as though it was happening to somebody else, what could I learn is a valuable question. And if you do that, chances are, I'd say 95 to 98% of the time, you're going to learn something really powerful, you're going to learn something really valuable, and you're going to learn that the things that, not to be cliche, but the things that don't kill you make you stronger, and ultimately the things that kill you make other people stronger because they can reflect on the quality of your life. So regardless, that strengthening, even in your physical passing, passes on to your loved ones. So it's a cycle that continues forward. And so these are just some things that to keep in mind if you're struggling with adulting, if being an adult has been difficult for you, or you're transitioning into adulthood. Those are 5 life lessons that are really valuable in that way. And so until next time, this is Scott Golden. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground and your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.